To welcome to TRT World Mukesh Kapila, who is the Professor Emeritus of Global Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the University of Manchester. Professor, thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here.
We heard from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a little bit earlier here at the TRT World Forum. He highlighted the food security issues that the world has faced since the war started. Should that have come as a surprise, or do you think the global community should have been more prepared?
Well, I think the Ukraine crisis was definitely a surprise. However, crises, wherever they are, should not be a surprise. After all, we live in an age, we have a record number of wars all over the planet, and we have a record number of disasters in all continents. And of course, they are getting worse thanks to climate change. So in that sense, crises, wherever they are and from whatever cause, should not surprise us. And all nations and communities should be well prepared to stock up for when a disaster strikes or war strikes.
With that in mind, then, what are some of the lessons that the global community can learn from the conflict in Ukraine with regards to humanitarian responses and particularly with regards to food security?
Well, I think what the Ukraine crisis and the associated food insecurity problem, which has gone all around the world, teaches us is that we should diversify our supplies of essentials. You know, we learned this in the COVID pandemic in terms of reliance on PPE and essential medicines. And now again, we learn it through the Ukraine crisis that every country should try and build capacities as close to themselves as possible so that the essentials for living, whether it is food or medicine or anything else, can be acquired. We've also learned that countries should look ahead. In other words, in our age of globalization where we are so dependent on just-in-time logistics, just-in-time approaches to solving our needs, whether it is in the manufacturing of cars or whether it is in terms of the way we run electricity systems and so on, we need to have resilience built in. What that essentially means is spare capacity in nations, whether it's for food, whether it is for medicines, and other essential life-saving things. And the other lesson we have learned is that, you know, we have to think of a way of commoditizing essential life-giving substances like food. If you start to treat food just like any other item, like buying and selling any other item, then this is not going to solve our problems for the future. So food and healthcare should be put in its own special category as a global good, to be traded certainly, but under certain rules which allow access to the most poorest and vulnerable in the world at all times.
Removing food as a commodity. It's an important topic and one that will be up for discussion during the food security panel, which Professor Kapila will be speaking at here at the TRT Forum later today.